Hi, my name is Christopher Sobel, and I love you forever. And this is the C Squared Podcast with me and my friend Christopher Scott. Now it's going to be a little mental. Let's just sit here for a minute.
It's going to be weird.
A little mental, but I wish we had snacks. Why don't we think of that earlier?
Well, you don't want to be chewing, like...
Yeah, you're right.
You don't want to get that audio.
I have gum.
I thought I had some gum. Oh, I do have some gum.
Yeah, hopefully one of these three cameras has, like, a decent audio track. I feel weird and awkward.
Right? It's like you feel like people are watching, but there's nobody here. Just us in the empty playground.
I know. This is going to make it hard to talk naturally for a little bit.
You're tuned into the Playground Podcast.
Yeah, baby.
This isn't weird.
Hopefully, cops come up and,
Hey, well, that should lead to some fun editing.
It'll be a good video, yeah. It'll make it better, actually.
Mm-hmm. And then you could clickbait that, too, and be like, our podcast busted by the cops.
There'll be some 20-minute video of someone doing something retarded, and then the title of the video will be busted by the cops.
Busted by the cops.
And then there'll be 10 seconds, they'll get pulled over, and it'll be 1 minute, and they'll be okay, thanks. And the rest of the video is just them rambling on.
What happened to...
I thought that was gonna be the whole point of the video.
That was gonna be all exciting, and somebody was gonna get shot.
Probably shouldn't chew gum. It's probably gonna annoy somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, everybody's not those ASMR people. I really don't get those videos. What do people get out of that, though? Anyway.
I'm just going to spit this out right now. So,
you should have saved it for later.
What?
That's wasteful.
Put it behind my ear, in the fuck video?
Some
movie that is?
Some Trailer Park Girl or something?
No. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, yeah. See, every time I think of putting gum behind here, I think of Ed, Edd and Eddy. Because one of the Trailer Park Girls that were into them would do that.
Oh.
Just stick it back there.
I did that when I was a kid once, and remember I woke up, I was at school the next day, I was in grade school. I'm what is this stuck in my hair? And I was a hard block of mush. I'm what did I do? And I was waiting, I had to cut it out, and eventually I remembered. I'm oh yeah, I tried to be the girl from the Chocolate Factory movie, and I put gum behind my ear because I thought it was cool.
Trying to be cool.
Yeah, bro.
See, I tried that, and all it did, it just fell. It wouldn't stick.
Oh no, I made sure it was up there, apparently. I stayed up there all night when I was sleeping. Until the next day at school.
Had it in there real good.
I don't remember if the nurse had to cut it out or something. I feel I would have just
Did you stick it in your hair? Actually get it in there a little bit?
Just back
Just really
there.
jammed it in there.
Did you ever fall asleep with gum in your mouth?
Yes.
Then you wake up in the middle of the night and there's this weird, it's not even gum. It's
this starts disintegrating in your
this
mouth.
Starchy goop, dry, this weird.
It's not delicious.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not anymore, it's not.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times, and every time it's there's only one time where I did that, and it was that's still good.
Yeah, baby.
And every other time it's oh god, I gotta pull all these strings out and stuff now.
Not still good. Not even a little bit.
Do not like.
Do not like. That's that. You got that from me. I know that.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did.
No.
I never stopped saying that one.
No, that's a good one.
It's funny though, because I stopped hanging out with all the people that I hung out with, and then I stopped hanging out with you for a while. And the only people I really hung out with were my brother and my father. Mm-hmm. And I would say stuff like that, in conversations with him.
And they just look at you like you're stupid.
And they're okay, just gonna pretend I don't know what that was, but
it's okay. I think it's kind of fun though, because I leave them wondering.
I do kind of like that about you. You really leave people wondering shit like that. I wonder how many people have left a conversation with you and later on went to Google something you said. What is that from?
Do not like. Middle Eastern voice. Do not like. Borat, do not like. Something.
You know what's really funny? A little fun fact. In Borat, you know how his character was anti-Semitic?
Yeah.
And always was saying crazy shit about Jews.
Mm-hmm.
It every time he would speak a different language, or like when it sounded like gibberish, he was actually speaking Israeli.
Actually, in real life.
Yeah, like in the movie, he was speaking. When he would start talking crazy and you'd like, oh, what language is that? He was actually speaking Israeli to like balance out the anti-Semitic shit that he was saying.
Well, don't non-Jews speak Israeli as well? A lot?
I mean, there's a lot of people that speak Israeli, but I
didn't
think
even know that was a language. Honestly, I'm not even, like, I feel stupid, but like, I knew Arabic was a language.
Arabic. Arabian
It's the
Nights.
anti-Jew language, isn't it?
That's probably accurate.
Like, if any had to be it.
That's that's not inaccurate, I would say.
Really starting off, look at first thing we try to film, we're talking about things that someone's going to find racist. I like the whole point of just putting out there, like, natural conversations.
Yeah.
I don't have to filter myself, like I'm not trying to offend Jewish or Arabic people. Like, I don't care. That's not the whole point. And if someone takes it like that, then, like, fuck them. Like, I don't know. Like, that's because it's clear.
Well,
that's not what I meant.
I mean, a lot of the time, I think that it's like projecting. So, like, if somebody hears something that you say and they automatically assume that it's like racist or something, or that you're a racist, they're like kind of projecting some things about themselves onto you. And it's like, well, you're saying I'm racist, but you don't even know what I said. You're taking things out of context. Like, are you actually racist?
That could be true. I think that could be true a lot of the time. Not every time, but that could definitely be true. That's like, yeah. Like,
I'm not saying they would be full blown, but like, I mean, everybody's a little racist, right? That's what they
maybe at some point.
That's what they say.
Like, you always have some thought back in the back of your mind, like, why are they doing that? Well,
well, you know
certain kinds of people can be.
You know how they are.
I was going to go somewhere else with one of those points that you said. About people projecting onto other people. I feel like, actually, that's really interesting, because have you ever, like, been, like, seen a behavior in somebody else, like a bad behavior in somebody else? Like kind of like the manipulation, like you see somebody else trying to escape a lie, or like trying to do something, and you know they're doing it only because you've done it. Yeah. Only because you've used that same technique to get out of, or to try to like whatever.
Yeah. Like, oh, I know exactly what you're doing.
So like,
and, like, I think that's how like a lot of parents are. Like, because, you know, like, they say, like, oh, you can't get that over on me because I've done that. Like, like, okay. Like, all right, so that means you got to get more creative if you want to get away with shit. And, like, for me, my kids aren't going to be able to get away with anything because I did a lot of bad stuff. I got real creative with it, too.
Oh, my God. Who knows? Maybe there'll be better ways then. I just want to see. But, like, that's not always right. Okay, it's not working anymore. But I think a lot of the time that leads to, like, false assumptions as well. Like, people are like, I know what you're doing, but you actually don't. You know what I'm saying?
Because you've done something similar and did a bad thing, so you're just assuming.
Like, you're a bad person and you lie to people about that, but then you're, like, assuming that they're going to lie to people about that,
too. That's what everybody does.
Like, that's not what that's such a thing that people say, too. That's what everybody does. I'm like, is it, or is that just what you do? I don't know.
Where are you getting that information from? Who'd you pull for that?
What else? What else is like that? It's really similar too, because when people try to accuse you of things, like, a lot of the time, you can kind of think, like, why are they so suspicious of that? Mm-hmm. Is it because
it's almost suspicious that they're suspicious? Yeah. It's like, huh.
And that, like, I feel like that gets into a lot of relationships, like boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, like, you're cheating on me. And when they're like, not, like, or you're doing this, you're going out, you're texting people, you must be. I'm like, what's that saying about you? Do you text, when you text people, do you?
Yeah.
Like,
because, like, either you're doing that or you're thinking about doing that.
Or you have done it, or it's like ruminating in your head.
Yeah,
like,
there's a reason why it's taking up space in your brain, why that's like a conclusion that you jump to.
Okay, that last little bit of conversation, I still had in the back of my head, like, we're recording something.
Yeah, but it was getting easier.
But it started rolling a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it started going somewhere. So
it's kind of funny. Like, I almost feel like I have to act a certain way because I know that we're, like, like being
Gonna post it
recorded.
on the internet.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's also like
The whole point is to not have to act a certain way.
yeah, just be authentic, like just be organic, natural.
Yeah, I think if we do like a few of these, it'll
Just be like whatever.
after a while. Because when I first started even doing any videos at all, like seeing myself on the computer and hearing my voice was really weird.
It takes a lot. It takes some getting used to.
After like 10 or 20 videos, I'm just like, that's how I sound, I guess. Like, and if it's not how I sound, that's how I sound in the videos. Because I think everybody sounds different in their own head. Because it's just like revert. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like going through your bones and through everything. And
I really think that is what it has to do with.
no, it is, because like your ears are connected to your skull, I guess, in some sort of way. And like, you're not just hearing the air like waves, you're hearing like your own head vibrate as well.
Like if you like stick your fingers in your ears and then talk.
Yeah, you can
like,
still hear yourself fine.
So you're hearing that, and then you're also
that's really
hearing.
interesting. It's like the dry wet filter.
Yeah.
Like this is half of what you're hearing, and then this is like the airwaves combined with that.
Yeah, like when I first started doing like audio stuff, it took a while to get used to like having headphones on and like getting used to hearing your own voice coming into your head. Like, you know, you have to get used to hearing that coming directly into your ears. Like if you're talking to like a microphone with headphones on,
Yeah.
you're hearing your voice, but you're hearing it the way it sounds through speakers.
I don't care. There's no laptop speakers that I've ever heard that sound good.
No,
there's not.
There's
Some of them are
not.
louder, which is nice, but none of them are good. I'm like, why doesn't someone like just build a laptop that's thicker? I don't care if a laptop is an inch thick. That's okay with me.
I really don't care.
I don't need it to be a centimeter. I don't build it fucking an inch and a half. I don't care.
Yeah,
if it sounded badass, that'd be awesome.
I'm not climbing mountains with my laptop. Like I don't need it to weigh half a pound.
Like, okay, I get it for people that are like taking it in their backpack every single day to like school or work. But I'll take it some places, but I'll walk to my car with it in my backpack and I'll set it down and then I'll walk out of my car to wherever I'm going, like the library or like someone's house or something. It's not like I'm trekking with my...
See, what you need is a gaming laptop.
I am. The next one I'm going to get one with like a graphics card built in and everything.
Yeah, I want to get one of those too. Just for doing like video editing and stuff. Because it's not that you can't do it on a lower quality laptop, but it's just so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
So much better.
And like, I don't know, like I said, like my laptop is like...
Smooth.
It's an i5. I don't know which one. It's a mobile i5, so it's not like a full feature
I never
one.
know what that means. I've been
What?
hearing like processor names like that since I was like 8.
Okay,
and-
there's like a million different i5s. Some probably not a million. I don't know how many. Maybe like...
But they never tell you the specs on that. Like what?
Well, you could just
you
tell because it'll be the i5-5220M. I don't know if that's a real thing, but like... And then the next better one will be like the 5225M, and the M stands for like it's the mobile version, like the laptop version.
Really?
Like and usually from what I've seen, because I was looking at like upgrading the processor in my laptop for like video editing. Usually from what I've seen, the higher the number is, the better it is within that same series.
So those like not like revolutions per minute, but like what's it called for
The
processors?
clock speed,
Yeah,
like the gigahertz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what that number is? Like that
No,
5230 or whatever?
No. It's just like the model number.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it has.
I was assuming it was like BMW with their model numbers.
It used to be like that.
Are they still like that?
Not really. Like this one is. Okay, everyone that doesn't know, like
Yeah, that's
BMW
right.
is like,
It's a BMW, right?
yeah, baby. If you didn't know already.
You didn't know, now you know.
Classy.
That's right. Just
But like,
putting that out there.
it used to be like, okay, like this is a 5 Series BMW. So it's going to be like, this is a 525i. So that means the first number is 5, which means it's a 5 Series car, which is the model. That's like saying you have a Ford Focus. It's a 5 Series. And then the 25 is like the trim level. So like in this car, 525, 5 means 5 Series, and then 25 means it's a 2.5 liter engine. And then I means fuel injected, which is dating back to like the 80s when like you can have a carbureted engine or a fuel injected engine. So like my old crappy project car is a 325 IS, which it like makes sense. It's a 3 Series with the 2.5 liter engine that's fuel injected, and it's the sport model, like the sport suspension.
Oh, see, I thought the I stood for inline.
Nope, it stands for fuel injection. BMW only makes inline engine. Like, Okay, they make V8s and stuff, but they don't make a V6. Like all their 6-cylinders, I think pretty sure they still do to this day. They don't make V6s, they make I6s, which is kind of cool because it's like an unusual thing. That's how all 6-cylinders used to be, like in the 50s and stuff. Like Chevy made a lot of inline 6s and stuff, and like anyone who made a 6-cylinder, but like they try to make cars smaller, more compact, and a V6 is just smaller and more compact.
It's just wider.
But an inline 6 is smoother, and it sounds cooler most of the time.
And isn't one of the appeals of an inline engine that it's not fighting itself?
It's actually an inline 6-cylinder is, okay, there's a lot to engines. I don't even understand all of it, but the primary balance is perfect. There's like primary balancing and secondary balancing. I'm sure you can go down the line. I don't know exactly how that is, but supposedly, from what I understand, inline 6 has like an ideal primary balance naturally. Like it balances itself because of how it is, because of how it's made. Yeah.
Really?
And like a V6, I guess you would have to have like counterweights. Like I'm sure they still have counterweights in this, but like, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe it has to do with the firing order, but yeah, an inline 6 is like ideally balanced because there's a lot of moving metal parts that are vibrating a lot that naturally you'd be like, that, how is that moving so fast and not killing itself? Maybe for some engines, like if you have like a boxer engine, the pistons are going like this, so they kind of would cancel each other out, right? To a certain extent. So I don't know how they deal with it there.
So I mean, would they even need?
I don't know.
So they probably wouldn't really need counterweights on
I'm assuming they still have some sort of balancing mechanism because the pistons wouldn't be directly across; they'd be a little bit offset, so that would create a little bit of like this kind of vibration. So I'm assuming there has to be something done about that too. So.
Well, so I mean, all
that's what engineers get paid for.
All the complicated stuff aside, isn't that crazy though? How like they engineer these things, like they take little stuff like that into account, like the tiniest little vibration, and they're like, oh wait, we got to add another piece to offset that because like,
I mean, it's like over 100 years in the making, so they've had a lot of time to get it pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming the engines in like 1900 weren't as smooth as the ones today.
Probably rocking.
Can't balance a dime on that one.
Oh god, no. I wonder if you could even have a conversation over one of those.
That's how it goes recording sometimes. Like you're recording stuff and it's like that was retarded, but we got like two good parts out of it.
Seriously, like some of the stuff you see online, like the videos people put up, I mean, they'll put up like a 10-minute video, but they recorded like 7 hours worth of video, and they just went through and chopped it all up. And
let's see how weird this makes it look. All these lights everywhere.
Oh man! Now you're gonna be able to see everything.
Yeah,
to see all the details.
All my flaws.
All my pores.
Oh no, not your pores. Oh my god!
I didn't exfoliate properly.
I know. What's wrong? We don't want people to see our pores.
No,
that's not a thing people have. Pores.
I don't have flaws.
I don't have. Why is that even a flaw? Is my question.
Like a common person.
See, I could turn mine on halfway through. All right, put that boy up there, baby.
Oh wow, look at that.
We are in a studio now, man.
Yeah, now we're doing it that
we should do that if you're high, like, and you get pulled over. Just like turn your phone flashlight on and put it right in your eyes. Yeah.
I'm totally sober.
And then, like, when he gets here, just turn it off. Hello, officer. Oh, his pupils aren't dilated at all.
I don't think it works like that.
It's good, bro.
I think they'll go back to dilate.
No.
As soon as you turn the light off.
I think so, too. You know, it's a nice thought.
You'll just be, like, blind. No, officer, I can't even see you. How could I be high? Like, cops are funny. I know somebody who every time he's an older foreign guy.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay.
You know him.
I know him.
You don't know him. But he, every time somebody talks about cops, he's just instantly like, oh, those pigs. All those, or if you talk about lawyers, he's like, oh, those crooks. Those, like, every cop is a pig and every lawyer is a crook.
All right, you can be like half at least, maybe. I could say that. Like half of cops are pigs. Half of lawyers are pigs, right?
Are crooks.
Crooks.
I wouldn't doubt
about
that.
About 90% of politicians are crooks.
Oh my goodness, yes.
At least 9 out of 10, yeah. And then
they're you know, hopefully we're working on fixing that. Hopefully.
I think it's just getting worse. I think the bigger everything gets and the more people there are, it's just going to get worse. Why would it get better? The more money that's flowing, the worse it's going to get.
Well, see, that's the problem. Is if, like, so I mean, I don't want to get too deep into like politics or anything, now. But
why not? Because we're almost to the end of the video.
I mean, I don't know like that.
Or do you not like talking about politics?
I actually,
why not? That's a good topic.
I actually really like talking about politics.
People like politics.
But that people. The thing with politics is when you start talking about politics, whether you intend to or not, you tend to draw a line in the sand, and it's hard to stay unbiased when you're talking about
because you want to put yourself, you don't want to go back on what you said, basically.
Well, it's because if you believe in something, whether you're trying to be unbiased or not, you're gonna be leaning that way in the conversation. Like, it's gonna be hard for you to accept like somebody else's views if you already have it in your mind that like, no, this is the way it is. This is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But like, so a big issue with politics now is lobbying. So basically what lobbying is in black and white is it's legal bribery. And so you can literally buy off and pay off politicians to help pass whatever you want, whatever laws or bills that you want to get through. And if that bill helps your business, like, and hurts the environment, I mean, you don't care because it's going to help you and get you more money and stuff. And so that's a big issue is if we can somehow get lobbying out of politics, then people would become more legitimate. They wouldn't be driven by. And
a lot of the people that are in politics wouldn't care to be in it anymore.
Oh God, no, because they wouldn't be able to get rich. Like,
yeah,
like you'd see a lot more people getting into it because they wanted to help people. So you'd see like more people being in it for the people, which, I mean, most people are in it now just for the money.
Yeah, and I think, yeah.
And another thing with that, the reason it ends up being that way.
See, maybe they go into it with good intentions, but I feel like once you get like to that level where you're like receiving like basically kickbacks, which I know they're not technically getting, but in some way or another, indirectly, you're getting kickbacks. I have a feeling.
Yeah, your cocaine, your hookers, your nice steak dinners. Well, so what happens? I think a lot of people do go into politics with good intentions.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to run for re-election in a lot of these things. So you have to focus on that, and you need money for that. And it's hard to get all the money you need for that from your constituents or from the people because then you have to spend a lot of your time running around and campaigning and trying to gather that money. Whereas if you just work with some big ass corporation who's like, I mean, I'll give you $500,000 if you help us get this bill through. You're kind of like, well, all right, it's just this one bill. It's not that big of a deal. I'll be able to...
I could buy a nice house for my family. Think of my children.
I'll be able to run for re-election and pay for all that. And then I'll be able to focus on getting good stuff done.
Yeah, and then with that money, I can, like, fund my campaign and shit,
And then it's a slippery slope. Before you know it, you're like, fuck yeah, I'll take $1 million. I don't give a fuck for, like, what for?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it becomes about that. And so I do think getting money out of politics would be a really good place to start with a lot of...
But how are you going to do that? There's, like, no real way to do that. That's just how people are.
Well, you would just have to...
People are going to be clever and, like, find ways to do it.
Sure. But right now it's easy because we have lobbying. If you make lobbying
I don't know what that
illegal,
law even is or means. I don't really know what that... Like, what is that? Like, do you know about laws about like that? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not, like, a lawyer or anything like that. But, I mean, the way that... I just look at it in the simplest terms, and obviously there's a lot more to it than just it's legal bribery, but for whatever reason they are allowed to lobby. And I used to know what the thing was, but I'll have to look up on that for next time. But yeah, if you were to outlaw that, I mean, yeah, people would find other loopholes and stuff to get through, but at least for a little while, people would have to be genuine and legitimate and would have to do what the people wanted. Because if you don't do what your people want you to do, they're not going to give you money for re-election.
Money. The thing is, like, there's so much, like, money coming. Like, if your business, like, is like rolling in cash, like billions of dollars, like, if you're just literally like, and you got money to spend, like, how many people in tax dollars does it take to make up for, like, one giant company's tax dollars like that, even, So, like, even just speaking in legal, like, just pure tax dollar income, like, if this company does well, you're going to get so much. You're going to get like 1 million people's worth of tax dollars.
In theory.
Out of this one company.
Right.
So it's like, even if they're not even bribing you or anything, there's still going to be that.
So you're kind of incentivized to sort of help them do better.
I don't know any of this. I'm just like theorizing and guessing and talking here. So I don't like.
No. I think like that sounded like that's kind of where you were sort of heading with it. I mean, well, it is important that, like, I'm certainly not on the let's get rid of corporations train because, like,
no, me neither.
I mean, we need their money.
And it drives innovation and shit. Like,
absolutely.
We wouldn't have iPhones if we had let's say
internet.
Let's say everyone got the same stipend, right? A lot of people like that idea. Like, everyone gets the same, paid the same. There's no top 1%. No one's getting rich, right? Like, it sounds great, but like, we'd have really crappy vehicles. Everyone would be driving around glorified golf carts. Because if everyone got paid the same, what would be the incentive to make great cars? Like, the government's just going to want to do it to, like, efficient and effective so everybody can get their money. And then, like, we wouldn't have phones. We wouldn't have iPhones. Do you think smartphones would have ever been invented? We wouldn't have the internet. We wouldn't have, like, a lot of the innovations.
Stealth fighter jets.
I don't know what I'm not on a side in politics. I don't really want to be because I'm like just open to everything. But like,
that's good.
Capitalism in that sense drives innovation because
it does.
Okay, some people want to get rich from inventions, and if you can't get rich from inventing something cool and selling 1 billion of them, then why? A lot of those people just wouldn't do it. Like, you think Henry Ford would have made the assembly line for automobiles if he couldn't get rich off of it?
If there was, like, no money in it?
It's like, this is my passion. No way.
Probably not. I mean, I think you would still get some of that creeping through here and there.
Yeah, because people are passionate.
Yeah.
Like, there are passionate people out there that like, want to do things because they're cool and because they want to help people and everything, which is great. But, like, it would be at a much slower rate.
See, and that's kind of the argument for, like, everybody who starts getting, like, angry when when other people start talking about, like, socialism and stuff.
Yeah,
is because capitalism does drive innovation. I mean, when you look at the U.S., when you look at the world, all the technology that's in the world, like all the coolest shit you can think of, fucking we did that.
It's because
we did that. It's the United States of America. I mean, that's crazy.
Or the United States make it, and then like Japan decided to like just make it a little better. We're like, we're gonna take that because it's a good idea.
Yeah,
You guys are kind of doing a crappy job because you're a bunch of fat, lazy people. We're gonna make it nice and efficient and streamlined.
Yeah, it's Futureland over there.
We're gonna make it work better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are really good at doing stuff.
I wouldn't say the United States drives all the cool shit.
I mean, but no, like when you think about it, we made the internet, we made smartphones. I mean,
me and you did.
Yes, we did. We're actually like 107 years old. But,
maybe, yeah.
Which I can't. You know, there's actually a possibility that we may live long enough to get to the point where our consciousness could actually be downloaded into a computer.
Heard that. Yeah, I've heard talks about that.
Like that's in the realm of possibilities. I mean, we might be like 95 when it happens, but we could make it.
That's weird. There was
and then we could live forever.
There was this Black Mirror episode about that.
I've been wanting to watch that show.
It's there's a lot of interesting concepts and like, but like, okay, one of the episodes is like, I don't watch TV that much, but like we were all watching it as a family. Mm-hmm. Like, I've watched 3 episodes of it probably.
I heard it's like the Twilight Zone, but like a modern day.
But the thing is, it's not like a story. It's like at least not that I don't think it is. I think it's more like every episode is just a different scenario.
Like a one-off.
Yeah. But like there was this one, and they had these little pods like this big, and you would make a copy of your own consciousness and your own mind, and you'd download it into the chip in this little thing, right? And like, but like the person that's contained in there still thinks that you're you. And they have to like, they're like, wait, why am I, like, where am I? Like, where's like, my body? Like, what's happening to me?
Were in there.
You're like, what's going on? Like, are we still at the doctor's office where we got this thing done? And then they basically, because the point of the episode, well, that little section of the episode was that they like made these little pods into like slaves basically, and like we put them in your house, kind of like an Alexa. but it's like you in there, so you know exactly how you like your toast, and you can toast it,
wow.
and you know exactly what music you like to play, and like everything like that. So it would be able to like do all your automated stuff like perfectly how you like it. But the person in there still thought they were you,
Right.
so like they had to like break them down mentally. Like they like put them through like day cycles, and they like in like 5 minutes they put them through like 30 days or something of just nothingness to like make them break
Jeez.
down mentally, so they would like comply with
Like,
doing.
I'll do anything. Just talk
They're like,
to
get
me.
me out of here! Like I want my body back! Like and they're like, all right, we'll see how you feel after 60 days of absolutely nothing. And yeah, and
Wow.
they come out and the person in there in the simulated body just like, I'll do it. I just want to do something.
Right, anything.
It's like solitary confinement. Like they're like, I couldn't even sleep. And they're like, well, that's because you're not real and you're just a program and you don't sleep. You don't need to sleep. You're just a simulated body right
I don't
now.
need to eat, breathe.
Yeah, it was kind of like disturbing. Like, and the two sides of it was like the one guy that was doing it, that was his job. Like, he's like, this is my job. I just need to make these little things for people and set them up at their house, which meant like breaking this little person down mentally and making them comply. And then the
yeah.
other side of it was like, I feel really bad. Like that's horrible. That's disturbing, and you can't do that to people. Like
That is disturbing.
it is, and
That's crazy.
in that show, there's a lot of like really disturbing thoughts that put in your head like that.
Like you look at it from that first perspective, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like it's me, and I know exactly how I like everything in my house.
Yeah.
But then you look at it like, holy shit, that's me.
And whoever's marketing that, if that became a thing, would be sure to not let you know that that's how it happened.
Oh God, no.
You know what I'm
There'd be
saying?
like an uprising against that, a complete revolt.
And the thing is, too, if something like that just kind of came about organically, as far as like this tiers of technology, it wouldn't be drastic. Like it wouldn't be just, this is the thing. It would be like, well, it was kind of coming, and we have the Alexa now, and like the next step of that, and now they can like somehow like put my thoughts into there, and that's it. And people wouldn't think much of it. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
And that's the,
You'd be like lulled into
I guess
that
that's the cool
over
part
time.
about that like watching that is that like it gets you to think about like some of the stuff we even do now that if you looked at from like an alien perspective would be like really messed up. Yeah.
You guys are weird, huh?
Like, yeah, like it gets you to kind of think like what are some of the things that we're doing now that we take for granted like that like might be really bad for us, or like bad morally even, or anything like that. Because right now we just go along with whatever like society and technology throws at us, basically, and whatever we're marketed. Because like marketing is really powerful.
Absolutely. Like I'll give you a great example of that. What's the most important meal of the day?
Are you asking me personally, or are you telling me what I'm supposed to think?
I mean, what do you think it is?
Okay, if it was a test,
Yes.
if it was a test and I wanted to get an A on the test, I would put breakfast. But I'm not sure if I agree with that personally. I don't know if there is a most important meal of the day personally.
So breakfast being the most important meal of the day, and I even remember this, like it's even ingrained into pop culture. Like there's an episode of SpongeBob
It is.
where he's singing to Gary, most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
Serving it up Gary's way.
It's so funny.
So that actually, a lot of people take that as scientific fact, but back in the day, it was a marketing campaign started by Post to get people to eat
Cereal.
Yeah, I can't remember what cereal. I think it was grape nuts, maybe, or
Something, yeah, any one of their products.
And so they started that campaign. It's the most important meal of the day. Don't forget, you got to eat breakfast in the morning. And everybody thought takes that as science fact today, as a fact, because that marketing campaign worked so well. It's ingrained in our brains so much that we believe it to be true. But in reality, scientists say, like, yeah, just eat when you're hungry.
I mean, and it's still a debate. Like, I get into a debate with somebody, you need to eat breakfast. I'm like, why? If I'm not hungry, I just won't eat. Just eat when you're hungry. Eat when you're fucking hungry.
That's literally what scientists say. That's all you got to do. Eat when you're hungry. You're good.
Just eat enough to not be hungry, then you'll be good and healthy. Like,
most important meal of the day was made to sell more cereal.
And you know what? Another thing that's really weird to me is milk. That's totally people are like, you need milk when you're growing up to be strong. I'm like, what?
It's good
That's
for
such a
your
modern
bones.
invention. Whether it's good for my bones, I don't know. But like, I don't know what it's good for and what it's not good for. But it's just so weird that like it's a staple in our diet. Every refrigerator has to be stocked with milk at all times. Like the cow udder juice, this cow baby juice, squeezing this goop out of the cows. We need it to be like, who thought of that? Like, think of that from an alien perspective. Like, think of the first people. These cows, they have this weird stuff that comes out that their babies eat. Yeah, their babies eat that when they're like, because they can't like chew things, I guess, whatever. Like, you think we could sell this to everybody in the whole country? How can we, like, do you want to drink that?
Why would I want to drink that?
Let's go next door to Tom and see if we can get him to do it. You know, it's better. See if we can get him to buy it from us.
Yeah.
And then,
our
cow's already doing it.
Let's just take him a glass. Tell him,
funny.
Just take a sip. Enjoy it.
It's just really good for you. You need, this is like you've never heard of this? What? Like your kids grow up without this? They're gonna grow up malnutrition.
Yeah, they're gonna have weak bones. You know, little Billy broke his arm. He wouldn't have broke his arm if he was drinking milk.
And now,
tell you what.
Now every single person has it. It's so weird. Milk is so weird. Like, you don't need milk. You don't need milk to grow up. You could go out milk your whole life and be completely fine. Like,
now, I will say this, and correlation doesn't equal causation or something like that.
All right, go ahead.
So, like, I did drink a shit ton of milk growing up.
Me too.
I loved milk. And I've only broken one bone, and that was my hand under an extreme condition. Everything else, every other time that I should have broken something, it's like,
I had the same thing. Like, I used to chug milk. Every time I was thirsty, I would just drink milk when I was a kid. And like
whole milk too. Like,
I went snowboarding and like I like broke both of my arm bones, like, and like something in the wrist, like right next to my wrist. So it was really messed up. And they said you can either like have a cast for like 6 months or we can do this surgery. And I still have like scars from it.
Oh, where they like fuse your stuff together?
And they just screwed in this like piece of titanium. And I mean,
look at that! I've never even noticed.
Screwed in this piece of titanium to hold the bones together, so that they would be strong, and I can like use it still. And while it's healing, I could kind of it would just be holding itself together. And then like a couple of years later, it was like when I would try to do push-ups or something and like do this with my hand, I kind of feel it in there, and it kind of hurt. So I'm like, and I'd have a hernia surgery, and they're like, we can just get the doctor that put it in to take it out.
Hey, while we're in there.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing. And they did it. They did the hernia and took it out. But he said that, like, and like you said, like, just because one example, I forget what they call that. There's like a word for that. Like, just because there's one example in there that of like something went a certain way doesn't mean it's necessarily true.
Right.
But, like, I drank a lot of milk. He said that my bones completely encapsulated the thing, and he had to like chisel my bone off of the plate to like get it off.
What?
Like,
your bones were like eating it,
growing, yeah, like forming onto this plate.
What?
And like really, and because I guess titanium like does well inside your body, and your body is not going to reject it, and like that's the whole point, is that your bones are like cool with it, basically. They're chill with it.
That's so cool.
And yeah, but he's like, your bones grew like so good onto that. I had to like chisel around the edges. I don't know if they can completely encapsulate it. Okay, maybe I exaggerated it because I don't know.
But the fact that he had to
chisel my bone away from the edges of it or whatever.
Like, I had to remove some of your bones
because it like started fusing with this thing and like getting around it. Like,
that's crazy.
It made me feel good. I'm like, wow, my bones are sweet.
I got some good bones.
I got good ass bones, man. My body's sweet. Yeah. So, like, I'm like, wow, it's because I drink a lot of milk. But now, like, when I look back, I'm like, maybe it's not because of that. Maybe it is. I don't know. But
it's hard to say.
It's still weird.
Or is it just genetics?
Milk's a staple. Like, oh, it's going to snow a lot? Let's go get milk. Milk. That's all we need. Milk. Cow milk. This juice that comes out of these big blubber things in the bottom of cows. Like cows. What? Oh, my God. It's so weird, man.
And you know, it's funny,
Completely
too.
Marketing. Completely marketing.
The whole cereal industry relies on milk. Like, they work off of one another. It's like
they're partners.
Like, if I said, oh, you want some cereal with water? Like, your first...
Have you ever tried it, though?
I haven't, actually.
I have.
And it's like... But you think... Yeah, no, I don't want water.
It's not as good.
It doesn't sound as good. But like that's a great example also of how they've made it a staple. Like, how do they do that?
Milk.
At one point, it was a really weird thing.
Cow bodily fluids.
And people went, I don't know about this milk thing. And then they started delivering it to your house. They would just bring, hey, you know what? We'll just bring it to you every day.
Grandma's getting it. I had some over there, and it was good. Yeah, like...
We'll bring you a fresh bottle every day. How about that? That way you don't got to worry about milking it yourself.
When I went to Peru, like, milk was like almost like a special thing. Like nobody had it everywhere. I mean, first of all, not everybody has refrigerators there, so that was the first thing.
Really?
Yeah, and second of all, like you don't have milk with every meal there. Like when you have breakfast, you don't have milk there. Like milk was like, they didn't sell milk everywhere. Like there was only like there was like this big market for this city we went to, and there was only, I think it was called Chachapoyas, if I remember correctly. That was the city.
Chachapoyas.
And in the market, I could only find, and the market, by the way, that's where people get their food from mostly, and it's like a big market where there's like, it's like the West Side Market, but like times 10.
Farmers? Oh, really?
Yeah, like this is a big indoor thing, and it's like there's like people that have
grocery stores?
stands there. I mean, they do, but like not in there. That was like kind of a smaller town thing. And like even like in Lima, they had like supermarkets, but like a lot of the places, like the market was like how you get your food, and like because a lot of people grow fruit there and have fruit trees, and they would sell them and stuff. So you go to the market, and you'd have everyone with their own stand with a lot of their own stuff there. They had like pigs hanging from ropes and stuff, and
boy, get that fresh meat.
Oh no, really? And the milk was like in that big tin thing that you think of when you think of the milkman.
That they actually,
it was like a big thing.
The thing that they actually just milked it
that,
into.
And like the milk wasn't even refrigerated. Like it must have been pretty fresh because it was warm, and like it was just sitting there. Nobody in the market. Like there was like a couple people that had little refrigerators for like cheeses and stuff, but like most of the people that were selling cheese even didn't have refrigerators. Milk, no one had refrigerators. None of the meat was refrigerated. Like that's like everything had to be fresh.
Yeah, if it's just out like that.
That's just how the culture is. But like milk wasn't a thing. There was only, out of maybe like 50 slots, there was only like 1 or 2 people selling milk even. And like even,
wow, really?
Yeah, and like even in the convenience store, milk was like some convenience stores had it and some didn't. Like
that's not very convenient.
But like it's just like an American thing, milk. I think I don't know if I've never been to Europe, but like I don't know if that's a thing there.
That is interesting because I've never even considered that. Like how many other things that we have are just weird things that only we do. I mean, like milk, for example, like I never even thought, like, do other countries drink milk like we do?
Not like we do. No. In the restaurants, like a milk was like bananas con leche. It was like just bananas with milk in the blender. And that was like it was like a special thing. Like it was like you ordered it. It was like on the juice menu. Like it wasn't like, we're going to drink milk with our meal. It's like, we're going to get a side of bananas and milk. Like, you know, or we're going to, like milk was like a side thing. It was like pop and like, but it was like, milk was like a thing you can get. It wasn't like you just drink it, but you order like a glass of it, like leche. It was like just like it was more of like a every once in a while thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a special,
like a milkshake is here or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's weird here that people drink pop for every meal too. Like I try to keep pop in like the dessert section of my mind just to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's nothing but sugar.
Like it actually, like I think of like the movies like Back to the Future when they went to the back in time, like the soda fountain. Like it was like a dessert.
It was a special thing. You go to the soda shop or whatever
and now it's like every meal. It's like just like to wet your palate. You drink some Pepsi or something like, but like. I try to keep it in my mind. I know that's normal, but I try to keep it in my mind. Like pop that can be my dessert after a meal. You know what I'm saying? Like if I drink pop, I'm like, this is a treat in itself. I tell myself that.
It really is. I mean, between the sugar and the caffeine, it's like that's a whole lot of rewards going on in your brain.
It is, and it's ridiculous. Wow, we're getting to good topics too, and I feel like it's almost been too long.
Actually, we were talking about something earlier, and I wanted to stop you and like.
Elaborate
and go on something else.
Yeah.
And then you said something else right after, and I like took that one and went on.
Yeah.
But damn, I can't remember what it was.
Let me see what.
Yeah, at Bob Evans yesterday, and he stopped me in the bathroom. Like we were both in the bathroom, you know, doing our thing. Go to wash our hands. He didn't. He only rinsed, no soap. Yes, I judged him, and he couldn't figure out the paper towels.
Did he poop though?
I don't know. He was in the stall. And he came out the stall.
All right, yeah, if you're in the stall, all right. I mean, if you're in the bathroom, really the best thing morally, and even if you're not thinking of other people, for yourself to do is wash your hands with soap and water. But like...
I mean, yeah, and then he was coughing and stuff too, and it's like, come on, man.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so I was talking to him, and he was telling me about, he had a whole bunch of stories to tell, but he had his buddy got this guy he knows got some free like concert speakers.
Yeah.
And him and a few lawyers. He was an older guy, so lawyers are crooks with him too. And he said they were throwing a party because they graduated law school, and because these concert speakers, they sounded even bigger than the ones that Nick had. He said you could hear them for 4 blocks.
Okay.
He said the neighbors nearby didn't call the cops. People 2 or 3 blocks over called the cops on them. And like just thinking about that, like, hey, yeah, I hear music coming from
In the air.
somewhere.
Someone having a party, a show.
Can you look into that?
That's funny. That's awesome.
Like I'm kind of curious, like how far Nick's speakers travel when he's got them cranked up.
I don't know. I don't think we ever really cranked them up out in the open, but
Never really blasted
in
them.
my garage we did, but they weren't set up right. We put probably like 3,000 or 4,000 watts through just the bass speakers, and they were pretty loud. But
Damn.
I imagine if you set them up and like stacked them right on top of each other and like faced them out of the garage, you'd be able to hear them for quite a while. Yeah.
Travel some distance.
Nick said that when he went to some music festival, I forgot what one it was. I think it was Lost Lands, maybe?
Lost
Maybe.
Lands.
And he said that like people were calling the cops from like the next town over.
Wow. Jeez. Hey,
And they're like, well, they have permits. They have permission to do this. Sorry. Like,
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't get that. They're like, come on, man. Like that's just a modern thing too. Like it's racetracks are like that. Like there's a lot less racetracks now because people don't want racetracks anywhere around because they don't want to hear the noise on the weekends. And like if you buy a house that's like kind of by a racetrack,
Like,
can't you just let people have fun? Like if my neighbors are partying on the weekends, I don't care. I lived above a bar when I was in that apartment in Michigan.
yeah.
Every night they played music, and on the weekends they play music till like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm just like, that's fine. That's what they're doing.
Well, it's one of those situations where you knew what it was when you signed up for it.
Like people are such party poopers.
Like it's not
man.
it's not a surprise that there's a racetrack there. You knew there was a racetrack.
I hate
You
that.
knew there was a bar below your apartment. Like
Yeah, but like okay, even in the case of the music festival, when people didn't sign up for that, it's like 1 weekend a year. Like just let people have fun. Like stop being such a party pooper. Like old people are always like, I don't want to hear any noises besides my TV times like cranked up to 100.
Right, cranked all
Like,
the way
why do you
up.
care if you hear kids yelling outside? Like why? Why does it matter? Just let the kids, just let people do stuff. You live in the suburbs. Live like on 20 acres of land right in the smack dab center if you don't want to hear anything. Like
Right.
Like what? People are people. Like you're going deaf and you don't want to hear noise? Like, do you want to be deaf?
just want to hear quiet.
Like, what is that? I get it. Like, peace and quiet, nice, but like...
Trying to get myself ready for death, the ultimate quiet. Dude, my grandma's like that. Like, so there'd be kids outside playing in like the neighborhood, and like every once in a while she'd just be like, "These damn kids out here playing," and I'm like, I'll just be like, Are they bothering you?
Like, do you listen to yourself? Like, what if you were 16? What would you think of
That's what I said.
Now?
I said, what did you do when you were a kid? She's like, well, I played, but you know, it's they should just go somewhere else.
It's different.
I'm like,
They should go somewhere else or go not by their house and the lawn in front of their house.
Yeah,
Like,
where do you want them to go? I mean,
like, there's literally a playground at the apartment complex. Like, they're gonna make noise. Like, there are people. Like, why does noise bother people so much?
I don't know. I really actually there's a science, there's like a theory behind it. I mean, there's a little bit of science in it for old people specifically. Like when you get old, like mentally, you have a hard time with that. It's hard to accept that your body's breaking down, that you can't do the things you used to do. And so what a lot of old people do, they start getting angry and they start wanting to fight. Like, no, I can still fight. Like and the battles they choose to fight are silly ones. Like, hey, get off my lawn, or hey, turn that music down, and it's just it's them trying to cling to, you know, like I'm not old. I don't want to give up yet. And
I get it. Like it just reminds them of things they can't have, and there comes the lesson.
Yeah.
People want what they can't have. You can't have youth when you're old.
You know, and that's kind of the funny thing. Every once in a while, I try to stay like conscious of what I have in the moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm young. Every once in a while, I'll just like be standing there and I'll just jump.
I feel good.
I'll just jump in the air and be like, it's really cool that I can do that.
I know.
Because one day I'm not going to be able to do that.
And there's a lot of people my age who can't for whatever reason.
Or if I do it one day, I will break a lot of stuff. And yeah, there's even people our age that can't do it. And it's like, it kind of goes into like taking things for granted. Like,
it does.
It's like the simplest things you don't think about. Like, I have 4 fingers and 2 thumbs. That's kick ass. Like, I can do a lot of stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
But if I suddenly lost some of those, I would have a hard time.
Yeah, and you always realize what you had before it's too late. That's why I always like try to just not take for granted anything that I have. But I've learned that lesson. You know, like, it's not something that everybody has, because you have to learn that, and you have to actually be able to take away from hard times in your life. Like, you have to be able to take away from loss and stuff. Be like, you have to like come to terms with yourself. Like, okay, next time I'm going to appreciate that more while it's happening.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Like traveling, for example. Like the first couple times like you'll go on like a trip, you're like, yeah, this is fine. I'm just walking in a city or something. Like sometimes you're like, whoa, look at those mountains. But like sometimes like the plain everyday tasks, or like if you're just hiking and you're like really just having to trudge because like you're so tired and you're going on like a long hike, you know, in the moment it's miserable. But then like afterwards, when you think about that trip, you're like, that was really cool and I want to go back. Yeah. And like after a few times, you learn to appreciate it. Like we were camping. Like me and my dad go on those canoe trips, and they're physically demanding and mentally demanding.
Yeah.
And like you're like carrying the canoe on your back, and there's like bugs all around you, and like flies trying to bite you, and like you're stepping in the mud, and it's like your shoulders hurt and your legs hurt, and it's like, but like I don't know, like it's miserable in the moment sometimes, but like after a few of those trips, you kind of do appreciate where you're at more, and like what you're doing, and like like what you get to experience, and like, wow, my body can do this. Like this is okay. It just, my body's telling me, just be aware, don't go overboard. Like it's just telling me that. Like, but you can tell it, like, just keep going.
Like, no, we're good.
We're good. Like, okay, this hurts, but I know it hurts, but I'm not actually being injured. You know, like,
yeah.
But like, and then like you can look around you and appreciate like that you're literally somewhere that's untouched by humans, and like this is what the whole world was.
What it used to be like.
Yeah.
Isn't that a crazy thought in itself?
And you could just sit there and like breathe air, and like you could like literally take a cup and drink the water, and like
fresh spring water.
Like just hear like the noises at night, and like the silence, and hear, and you start to appreciate those things, you know, like.
So like that kind of is the thing that a lot of people do without even realizing, is we tend to just focus on the negative things, like the shitty part about like right now. Like if you're not feeling good or something bad is happening, like it's easy to just focus on that, like the pain and the bugs and stuff. Like, man, this is not that great. But then when you take a step back and look at it, it's like, wow, like that's awesome. Like you get to do something that like a lot of people don't even bother doing, and see things that people never get to see.
Maybe that's part of the reason I learn how to appreciate things. Like, I don't know, like when I've been in relationships before where like they treated me really good, but I just kind of, you know how you kind of get bored after a while, right? You kind of get that feeling, and like you start to lose that like fire or whatever, and then you start looking at other people who are like, I'd like to like make out with her.
Wouldn't mind trying some of that out.
Like, yeah, and like you're like, wow, like I don't know, and then you start finding other people really interesting and stuff, and you're like, man, I'm getting bored with and I've been there before, and I look back and was like, man, like I really didn't appreciate all that person was giving me and all that I had there that was good. Yeah. So now, like, but the thing is, you have to look at yourself and be like, okay, I messed up in the past, and like I didn't appreciate things for what I had, and now it's over. But the thing is, when those relationships ended, you're still sad, you're still heartbroken, and then you realize some of the stuff that you miss about it. So like, if you take away from that, you can learn, like in the future, next time I'm in a relationship, like I'm going to appreciate these little things people do for me, or like I'm going to appreciate whatever it is good, because there's always going to be shitty parts, and it's always going to swell up at the beginning and go down over time. But like,
yeah, that's just how it goes.
You learn like how to appreciate it, and like, yeah, and it's just like really interesting. I don't know the right word. I kind of lost my train of thought there. I realized the cameras were filming, and I'm like,
You remembered. No, but you're absolutely right. Like, I think for a lot of people, and a lot of, like, even in their early relationships, like, they start to not appreciate those things. I mean, I'm even guilty of it too. Like, I've done it a bunch in, like, a bunch of relationships. I didn't appreciate, like what was happening at the time, or how good I had it. And then you go and you get in some shitty ones and you're like, oh, this is...
I did great, and now I can never go back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I literally did that with my first job. Like, my first real job was I worked at Subway, and I worked there with, like, my best friend at the time, and we could do anything we wanted, basically. I was, like, a shift manager, so I opened the store and I could hang out as long as I wanted. Dude, I used to come in early on Saturdays and smoke like weed in the cooler, and I'd just be like stoned for like 3 hours before people started coming in for lunch. And then I moved to New Jersey and I got a job at Subway there, and I'm thinking it's going to be the same.
Yeah, like chill. And
no,
it was way crappy and
way different. Like, I couldn't do any of this stuff, and it was at that moment I went, wow, I didn't realize how good I had it at that job. Like,
and the key part is you have to be able to learn and improve yourself from that experience. You have to sit down and think, like, how can I make this better in the future? And, like, the way to do that, how, at least where I'm at, maybe I'll grow from this perspective, but it's like it teaches you how, if you let it, how to appreciate what you do have in any situation in life, and like where you're at right now, like.
And that's almost like a constant thing you have to remind yourself of, because it's easy to fall back into that trap.
So easy.
Of, like,
of novelty, and, like, of, like, not appreciating, like, this isn't novel anymore, so it's, like, not okay, like, whatever, it's a job or anything, or not even novelty, just like you said, like, you had, like, or when you're camping, like, this is really crappy right now, and it's just, like, miserable, and, like, or traveling. After you travel several times, or go camping like that several times, you can learn to appreciate it if you let yourself go back and you let yourself be miserable a little bit, and then, like, you let yourself go back, and every time it's a little bit less miserable because you start developing that in your head, and, like, sometimes, and then after a while you kind of miss it when you're not there, when you're not in a relationship, or when you're not and we're not carrying a canoe on your back in the wilderness, or when you're not at that job that you had. You kind of miss it after it's gone, and and you're like, man,
if I ever run into that again, I am keeping that.
I love it. You don't even need to.
Gonna have a good time.
You don't even need to keep it, but it's just good to. You can be there and, like, really love it. You can really appreciate what you have. Whether you, like, it's always good too to, like, see what's not good about a situation. Like, you're in that Subway job, I'm sure there was things you like that were better than, like, I could do better. Like, I can get paid more. I can use my mind more. Like, you can't be in it so much where you're just like, this is the life.
Right, like, this is some good Kool-Aid.
You can be like, this is great, my life is great. But, like, I don't know, pain is a good motivator, and you still have to be aware of the things that aren't the best too, because that can motivate you to find something better. But it's a kind of balance, you gotta appreciate what you have. You really do, and that's you really have to, and it makes your life better.
But it's hard to do that.
It's so hard to do.
And even when you like know that you should be appreciating something and you do appreciate it, like, I mean, just falling back into that, like the way life works, it's almost designed to, like, lull you back into that, like, autopilot sort of.
Yeah. And, like, and it is, like, it's like work, because it almost feels not genuine sometimes, because I'm making myself appreciate this. But, like, I don't know, for me, I've gotten to the point where, like, I feel like I can genuinely appreciate something. Like, even when, like, I don't know, it feels mundane, I can appreciate, like, that little sticker I have right there.
I was just thinking that.
Like that little sticker, like the little fortune cookie. What does it say? We can read it right now. Ready? It says, You find beauty in ordinary things. Do not lose this ability. It's just like that.
So, like just with, like, you with camping, one thing that I learned to, after I've gotten, like, better and healthier, like, as a person, one thing that I really appreciate, like, when I'm down in like Columbus, Like I always have a really great view there, like great sunsets.
Yeah.
Like I'll just go outside and just literally just enjoy the moment, enjoy the beauty of the world.
Exactly.
And it's like, and it's so easy. Sometimes I'll go out there and I'll get on my phone real quick and I'll find myself like I'm standing outside
this is
scrolling,
boring, like
scrolling in my phone, like looking at like memes and shit. And it's like, wow, I could be like, I literally missed a sunset.
But if you really like step back, you can be like, just the fact that my eyes are able to perceive all these colors and like see the gradients and like see the clouds and the thing, like this is just like happening, and whatever reason it's doing it or whatever, but like I can appreciate like the beauty, like the artistic, like the, I wouldn't say that because then like I'm not saying it is or isn't designed or whatever, but like you know what I'm saying, like
yeah.
But like you can appreciate like this, how beautiful what that whole moment is and how peaceful it can be and everything like that. You're like, just that I'm able to perceive this and like enjoy it and just like be here, and like you just stare at it and you see all the little details and you just can't take the moment in, you know, and like
yeah.
it feels really good if you can learn to appreciate things, like little things like that.
And then like if you look at things on an even deeper level than that, I mean, when you start thinking about like why things are the way they are, like even just from like a pure scientific standpoint, where it's like,
oh, I know, it makes it more beautiful,
where it's like why is the sky like this pink and orange fiery gorgeous color, and it's because like water molecules are in the air and the light is like refracting off of
like
the molecules and
like the different kinds of elements that are in the sky and like the pressure, like all the stuff that goes into it, and it's just like that's just how it works, and that makes it even more spectacular because I'm like, that is happening and it just happens to work like that, like,
yeah,
and that this can exist and that I can exist, and like, yeah, and it's like you can get really deep into it.
It's crazy, and like
everything really is coming together here. You can just be like, wow, it's all
it's like an
together.
amazing like symphony or an orchestra, and it's all just
like a by accident symphony, like just like
right.
It just like, oh, I just started going like this on the piano
and suddenly I have
one chance out of a billion. One of those is going to sound like the most beautiful song you've ever heard.
Right.
And that's kind of what's happening. Like
it's like even what's even crazy is if you think about like, so the sky, for example, like we see the sky as blue.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why like blue light keeps us awake, is because, you know, way long ago, during the day the sky's blue.
After the sun comes out, it's all orange, and then the sky's blue in the day, yeah.
And then at night, what we only used to have was like firelight.
And like,
so red light makes us tired.
And the sunset is very orange and red tinted. Mm-hmm. So when your eyes and your skin receive that reddish tint, it turns on your go to sleep chemicals.
Yeah.
And like, that's why, I mean, this is a natural thing. That's why iPhones have the nighttime mode, and it like filters out the blue light.
Blue light filter, yeah.
Yeah, and it's because that blue light, like,
it keeps your body from making melatonin.
Actually, if I like lay in bed and scroll my phone and put my phone down, I'll, not every time, but a good portion of the time, I will not be as tired. I'll have to lay there for a little bit before I fall asleep. But if I like don't look at my phone for a while, I'll be able to just lay in bed and be like, oh, I'm so beat today, and just fall asleep in 5 minutes. And like, I know that there is a difference. Like,
they say 30 minutes. You want to go like 30 minutes without looking at screens before bed. But yeah, like, I mean, so even, and I could talk about this for fucking hours.
Hey, we always have next time.
But like,
a lot of good topics.
even the way that our eyes perceive light. So like the way that our eyes have formed and like evolved and stuff is, you know, we're designed to see wavelengths a certain way of light. So like, for example, like dogs, bears, like different animals could see the sky as like a bright fiery purple,
or like some weird way that we can't even imagine because our eyes don't work like that. Like they might not even see vision. I mean, for all you know, you could experience vision in a completely separate way, but you're just accustomed to that. So it's just me and you can relate because we both can agree that this is a square. But like, who knows how you're perceiving that?
Right.
How I'm perceiving that.
And when we were children, we were both taught that that's red. So it's like, okay, like that's red.
However you perceive that is red. Yeah.
But like,
isn't that weird? Like,
but is my red the same as your red?
But it's like, But is how your vision works the same as mine? I have no idea. Like maybe, who knows? Like maybe the whole sensory experience is different for you than it is for me. But we just make these markers like red so we can all like.
Well, because we have to like. I think like as a species, as like a society, we have to like agree on.
Oh yeah,
things.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying like maybe the way you experience that sense is completely different in a sensory or emotional way, like completely not even similar to that, but we can still talk about it because we both, because of that, because we can agree that however this makes you feel is red. Yeah, like
right. Yeah, it's incredible, especially when you start breaking the numbers down for everything, like atoms and molecules and stuff. Like, I mean, think about it. Like, we're made of the same stuff as stars. We're made of stardust.
Like that one song.
Atoms and like protons, electrons, neutrons. Like it's just...
all we are is dust in the wind.
And it's true. and all that stuff came together to create little tiny systems that all come into like end up being a big system, which is like governed by your...
system and a bigger system and a bigger system.
By your brain. Which, and then our brains developed enough to actually have a consciousness. Like, so that's... we were talking, kind of getting on this earlier, like with like uploading your consciousness and stuff, like that episode of Black Mirror. Like that's why I'm always nice to Alexa and Google, is because no joke, they are going to become sentient one day. Like
at some point, yeah. It's especially those because they're like a cloud computing thing. Yeah. Like and that's going to be the first AI is like some like cloud based computing because
it's going to have all that knowledge.
You can have so much power in these servers all over the place. You can't just have, it's like that's going to be the first AI. It's going to be some like big massive thing. It's not going to be just this little box that can talk to you. It's going to be all of this information and program and knowledge from all of these sources linked together, all of these like server farms and stuff. And like, you might let some of that out through a little box, but it's not going to be like a self-contained little box.
Right.
It's far. Isn't that crazy? That's how complex our brains and body is, that like we need server farms linked together to even come close to it.
Right.
Like, but if that's all fitting into this, there's no way with current technology, not even close, like that we can make something that works like our brain does in the same size as it. Not even. Well, that's nothing. Not even.
We actually, like, compared to our bodies, we actually have the largest. We have the largest brain to body ratio of any species on the planet.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, when we're born, we're all tiny and defenseless and fucking useless, is because our brains are so big that, like, that's the biggest we can get. The biggest we can get is like, wah, I can eat. Like, that's it. And because, you know, other animals come out able to walk and able to communicate or whatever. But we have to grow for like another year or two before we can start to do those same things. Because our brains, we can't get that big inside of mom, because we'll fucking kill mom if we get that big.
And then, like, maybe it just takes longer to program that brain because there's so much more going on, you know? Like, there needs to be a lot more to learn, you know? Whereas, there are basic instincts, but it's not like a giraffe or something. It falls out and stands right up. And
right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
If you had a baby and you just left it there, that baby's going to die.
A giraffe baby would probably die too, but
giraffe baby's got a much better chance.
It can run.
It can move.
It can like walk like in an hour. Like, what?
Yeah, and then it can go like eat some grass and be like, okay, I guess food.
I think they drink milk from their mother.
Oh, do they?
They're a mammal, so
you're probably right.
Yeah, they have udders just like cows. Let's get giraffe milk and make it a thing and sell it to everybody. You know what?
Giraffe milk.
It has more calcium than cow milk.
It's even better for your bones.
It is, and it's actually better for your. It's a superfood, actually.
Superfood. There you go.
It is.
That's the word.
We can sell it at Whole Foods too, and
oh yeah, organic giraffe milk.
Organic superfood giraffe milk, straight from the Sahara Desert. $48 a quart.
Free range.
Free, yeah.
We gotta slip that in there.
Free range, kind of. But
super milk, free range Sahara
giraffe milk. It'll make your brain as long as a giraffe's neck. The chemicals and the chemicals that make the giraffe's neck so long actually are in there, and it just is so good for children because it helps them to grow.
Have you ever seen that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper? It's like that. That's what it'll do to you.
Seriously. Like, not even Joe King.
Oh,
not even Mark King.
Neither of them.
Not even Eric King. Chris, that one doesn't even mean a word.
It is funny though, because like that's all it takes to do anything or sell anything. Good marketing.
It is.
You could sell the most ridiculous, sickening thing. Okay, I'll give you a funny example.
Ladybug leaves. Ladybug wings.
So let's just think of stuff we have now. Fish eggs, caviar. People fucking eat fish eggs.
I get it, like from not like a modern standpoint, but like before it was like a thing. Like, okay, that's just part of the fish. We're just gonna eat it because we're hungry.
Because we're hungry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
same thing with like.
And maybe like back then it was like special because like most fish don't have this, and this is like a new texture and a new taste, you know. So it's like it's kind of special because not all the fish have it. Like all the fish have meat, but not all the fish have these little ball things.
These weird little things inside them.
Yeah. So like,
it's like the same thing with like lobster. So lobster used to be garbage food that only the poor people ate because that's all they had or could find. And then one day, I don't know, like rich people were like, oh, no, we like lobster now. Now it's fancy. And now lobster's fancy. But what is lobster? What is shrimp? Sorry, this might gross other people out.
Ocean crayfish?
It's an ocean bug.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally an ocean, like lobsters.
It's like a spider in the ocean.
Those are crabs, ocean spiders. So lobsters are directly related to potato bugs.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and people eat that. Like, would you eat a giant potato bug? No.
I mean, it tasted good. I went to that. We used to go when we were kids to the bug fest, and they would cook you up mealworms and sprinkle some cheddar on them, and you would eat them, and they were
actual
good.
Worms.
Oh yeah, mealworms, like the little. I don't know if they're mealworms or not, but they're like little millipede things, and they would fry them in oil, and they'd put like seasonings on them. They tasted like bacon and stuff. Ugh. Like they were good though.
God,
they were good.
That makes me think of The Emperor's New Groove and what's it called? Man vs. Wild.
They would have like grasshoppers, and they would cook them, and like you would eat them, and they didn't taste bad. None of them tasted bad.
I guess you spend a few hundred years eating something, you're gonna figure out how to make it taste good. Especially if like obviously that was eaten out of like necessity of some kind.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not because like, ooh, bugs probably taste good. Like, no, fuck, all we got are bugs. Okay, we're gonna make these work.
No mammoths today. No fruit. No nuts.
No nothing.
Nut season's over.
Just
all our nut store ran out. And then like,
it is funny though when you start thinking about like, all the things that we eat that are just weird. But they're not weird because we've been eating them for so long.
And that's the thing. That's why like people should always try new foods, because like the things you eat now, if we didn't eat them, you would never try them. Like milk. Like if we never had milk or anything like that, and then like one day I came up to you and been like, this is like a bodily fluid from this animal that it like feeds its infant babies, that like comes out of these big sacks on their belly. Would you eat that? Nobody would try it. Like picky food people would never try milk.
Hard pass.
But now like we'll eat ice cream and shit. Like it's like, no, it's like, wow, this is delicious. Because it is delicious. But like you should always be open to new foods, because if you think about it, like I said, a lot of the stuff we eat now, like it's pretty weird and gross sounding, you know? Like,
it is when you really break it down. Like, cheese. Cheese is like old milk that was like churned a lot or whatever.
I don't know. Do they ferment cheese or something?
I think they do, because it creates like Swiss cheese has gas bubbles.
Like yogurt.
That's where the holes come from.
Is
so it's gotta be
living bacteria.
Literally, it's alive.
in milk.
And you're eating it. You're eating cultures.
Beer is like literally fermented grains. Like I think it's fermented. Don't get me wrong there, but it's definitely something with bacteria eating it and pissing out the alcohol.
Yeah.
And like,
so with the yeast,
like the alcohol is like bacteria piss basically, and like
it's a byproduct of their eating and their reactions in there.
And I'm sure there's more to it than that, but that's like it's weird. Like it's weird, and we all drink something every once in a while, and not all of us, but like it's just
people are weird, man.
People are weird, and you just got to open your mind and be like okay, all the stuff we eat now, I guess it's pretty weird. So I guess I'm gonna try this new thing. Like I'm gonna try something. I don't know, like whatever it is that sounds weird to you. Like, ew, that has tomatoes on it. Like what? Like that's really the worst thing that you're eating right now? Is like you can't imagine eating a tomato or like what?
I mean, like I think for a lot of people get more hung up on like textures and like weird thoughts about stuff than like what the actual.
I don't think so.
And the flavor itself.
I think a lot of. Okay, some people do, I think, but maybe I think...
I know a lot of people who don't eat bananas, all for texture reasons, but all of them have a different reason.
I mean, like, I don't necessarily like the texture of bananas either, but I kind of just eat them because I know they're food and I know they're good for me. I mean, they have a good flavor, but
they're delicious.
I'll eat bananas, but they're not my favorite. I eat a lot of bananas, and they're really cheap too. Like,
I'm allergic to bananas a little bit.
A little bit.
My mouth gets all itchy when I eat them.
They do have a weird, like after you swallow them, they kind of have a little weird throat action for me. But like just a little tinge of something.
Throat action.
But bananas con leche, that's some delicious stuff.
Well, see, I mean, nothing's like that's like the best. That's a great combination because like milk is a good palate cleanser, so it just washes all that away.
And it has a lot of sugar.
So you're getting that banana flavor.
And bananas are like one of the most sugary fruits.
Bananas are like just sugar.
Yeah,
but at least they're complex.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I still think bananas would be good for you. Like,
complex carbs.
The sugar doesn't necessarily mean bad for you.
Well, sugar is good for your brain.
Yeah, your brain runs on, I think it's glucose, right?
Yeah.
So
like if you're having like a long day where you're doing a lot of thinking or a lot of like
does it
stuff
actually lower your glucose levels?
I mean, you're using your fuel.
Is that how it works? Like does your brain consume glucose?
I think it like breaks it down into like another
something else
chemical or something.
I mean, your body can like make more
ATP or something. I don't remember from biology, but
several steps going on there.
Yeah, but like if you're having a long day and you're feeling kind of like a little out of it because you're working hard, just have eat like a brownie or something. Have a little bit of sugar, a little snack, and that should help get you
anything.
Get you going.
You don't need to eat sugar because your body can. Well, technically, if your body's working properly, it should be able to create glucose out of your fat stores.
I mean, but
it's harder for your body, but it should be able to. You should be able to not eat anything for a week, and your body should be able to maintain fairly steady blood sugar levels.
Yeah, if you, assuming you have enough body fat for that.
Who doesn't?
Unless you're like 2% body
Arnold
fat.
Schwarzenegger body, like that kind of person, like most. Especially when we're in America, like most people,
we know where we're at.
Like we're not really even fat people, but like I bet I'd be able to go a month or maybe longer than that without eating anything at all.
You would be miserable, but you could do it.
Like my body would be able to keep going and out of the fat stores that I do have. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be exhausted though.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, you would. But I believe that I could.
If you had nothing but water,
I think I could.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's the vitamins, but like.
Honestly, I'd probably give you 3 weeks tops.
Really?
Because you're not a big guy. You don't got a lot to work with.
Maybe that wouldn't be.
I mean, between your fat and your muscles, like you probably.
It's even like I said, 1 week. Like this, he's like, you always need to eat something, but I really don't believe that you do. I don't believe that you always need to eat something. Like if you're not feeling like eating, just don't eat. Like your body's, unless you have literally at like 5% or less body fat, which for everybody out there, you're not.
You're probably not.
You would care about that if you're that low body fat.
Yeah, you'd be flaunting that.
You are working extremely hard to make that happen because your body does not want that to happen. So
your body's like, oh no, we need to save some of this.
Maybe if you're like anorexic or bulimic, but that's a whole other thing. But
but if you're like that because you're a healthy person,
like you can, I think
that's
almost
impressive.
Anybody can like not eat for a couple of days and be completely fine.
Oh yeah, so the average person could go a week without food, no problem.
But I'm just saying, like a couple of days, and you wouldn't even I don't think it would hurt you at all.
I'd say for me personally, so the longest I've gone without eating food was 2 weeks, and that was
what?
That's because I was taking some medicine at the time that like every time I would think about eating or go to eat some food, I would just get really sick, so I just didn't eat. But after about 4 or 5 days, like the hunger just kind of went away. It was like, oh, okay, well, I'm fine. It was really
Do you think
weird.
it was a side effect of the drugs, or do you think it was just your body kind of adapting, or what?
I want to say it was adapting. It's kind of like if you're addicted to something. Wow, great timing. Yeah, like if you go like a week without like smoking, or a week, it smells so good, or a week without eating like sugar and stuff like that. I mean, after a week, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I don't care about those things. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, you still like think about it and probably have cravings, but you're going to be okay. Like, you're not going to feel like you need to have those things. Exactly.
Oh, by the way, just because I use the word retarded doesn't mean I'm using it in an offensive way. So anyone who's going to be like, you said retarded, that's offensive to everyone that's mental illness or everyone that's mentally disabled. No, it's not. It's not. I'm not using it in that way.
No.
I'm not. I don't care. Like,
He's a good guy.
like, it's retarded of you to be offended by me using the word retarded. So I'm literally using it. It's like the word gay. You can say that's gay. Like, you're clearly not talking about gay people. Like, you're literally, if you think...
Well, it's like the episode of South Park with the Harley guys. And they're like, oh, you fags. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, whoa, I'm not talking about gay people. I'm talking about those guys on the Harleys with their loud bikes. Like, they're being fags.
Like, just like something, I'm just using gay as like
I mean, it was like, they had like a whole episode around that. And they, like, that was kind of the point of it. It's like,
I saw that.
Like, I'm not using it in a derogatory way toward, like
gay
homosexuals
people.
Or anything. Like, yeah, I'm just...
Yeah, like I don't...
Because it never was that even. Like, growing up, like, I mean...
No, you didn't even think about gay people. It wasn't even anything about that. It was just like... It was a completely separate thing. Like, that's retarded just means, like...
I mean, but I do understand why people get offended. Like, because my nephew for a while was, like, he wasn't the smartest. He was a little slower because he was, like, a preemie.
Yeah.
And so, like, my brother he does get a little offended when people use that word. But it's...
I think that you should... Wow, look at the little spot that the GoPro's making from, like, this whatever heat it's giving off. Like...
But it just depends. It depends on the person.
I think you should be able to...
You have to be able to take a step back.
You also have to be able to be aware of yourself, so I get it. But I'm just... Like, I'm aware that offends people. But I just... Maybe I'm implying my own values. But I'm like, you can... Like, when someone's talking to me, like... You shouldn't have to use the perfect wording. Like, people aren't going to cater to you in life because something isn't offensive to you. Like, you should be able to extract how the person is using it. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I say that's gay, like...
I know that you're not.
You know that I'm not making any reference to gay people.
I know that. Yeah.
Like, I could see if you, like, try to make it associated with that. You're like, well, gay people are bad, and whatever he's saying is bad. So, like, and he's using it like that. So
well,
that means,
and that's an example of, like, what does that say about you as a person?
Are you
getting offended?
Are you? Then that's my point. Like, it's like people making cancer jokes, like, or like dead baby jokes, like, whatever. Like, I don't know, that's not my style or whatever. But like, I get it. It's a joke. I'm not gonna get offended. Like, that's just, you're literally, like, you're not wishing dead babies. Like, you're not thinking that's a funny thing when it happens in real life. You're just saying that
right.
That's, like,
you're not actually laughing when somebody says they had, like, a miscarriage. I mean, like
no, but it's like you're using it in a completely different context. It's a joke. Like, you have to just pretty much, you have to know how people mean it. Like, if I'm saying that's retarded, I'm like, but if I'm saying, like, that people that are mentally slow are bad, and like but I'm not saying anything like that. And you have to know.
Like, you wouldn't call somebody who was slow, like, you wouldn't call them,
haha, you're a retard.
Right.
No,
like,
no.
Yeah,
No.
Because that is messed up.
That's messed up. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, that's my point. Like, you have to take what people are saying and see how they're using, because you can tell. You can tell how people mean something and, like, what context their word is, like, their words are, like...
Yeah. So, but I think what happened with that and, like, the whole, like, PC culture, as people like to say, is that, you know, everybody wants to protect. They want to protect people, which, like, that's fine to a certain degree.
Oh, there goes your camera.
Oh, that's probably dead.
It's probably dead or running out of video space.
And so people want to protect other people, and what happens is when we start using words like that, when we start saying, you know, it's gay or that's retarded, and, like, obviously we don't mean anything negative or derogatory by that, but other people who hear that and think it's okay, they do use it in that way. And there is, like, and they're kind of the ones that ruin it and make it a bad
You're
thing.
saying, like, I don't know, let me, like, kind of like racist people. Kind of like that kind of goes back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
We were saying before about like how you think something in your head and you see it, so you're like implying that they must be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Maybe something along those lines. Is that what your point is?
Yeah. So like people who are, I mean, like racist jokes are a good example, because I've heard plenty. I've heard all the black jokes, all of them, like a lot, and some of them are funny, but people, you know, some of the people who have said them to me, like I could tell that they're not racist. Like they don't really mean that.
It's a funny joke, and stereotypes are funny sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
they are, but sometimes you can hear people when they make jokes like that.
But they're actually trying to prove a point.
You can hear the actual hate inside them. Like, whoa, you kind of meant that, didn't you? Like
of course the blacks do that. That's who they are. They're blacks.
Right.
Like you can. That's what I'm saying. People need to use their judgment and like see that just because you use a word doesn't mean you're using it in an offensive way.
See, but it's
like, I love everybody. Like
I know you do. You do.
My nigga.
You see, but what happens is it's a lot easier just to go, okay, we need to stop saying that word, no more, than to sit there and like check the context and take a second to figure out is that.
And you know what? Everyone wants to feel like a hero. So if they call you out for saying a word, they're gonna feel like I'm more mature than you, and they put themselves above you. There goes my camera.
Oh, there's another one.
I think this is a sign. I think we should just take it as a sign of this is it. How about it? This is
sounds like a plan there.
Oh yeah. Let's see if the GoPro's even still recording. That'd be awesome if it wasn't. It is an hour 41.
Wow.
That is a low price.